We are Onyx Imaging. We are the highest rated and most reviewed printer service center in Oklahoma.
Hi, my name is John with Onyx Imaging, and today we're going to take a look at this HP P2055 printer, and we're going to look at some common causes of paper jams. More specifically, we're going to look at common causes of paper jams that are happening because of things happening inside the paper tray. Let's go ahead and remove the paper tray and I'll explain a little bit better. Alright, we have the paper tray removed. I'm also going to go ahead and remove the paper so we can get a better look inside this paper tray. Now if I tilt this up, you'll notice there's three adjusting tabs on the inside of this tray, and what those are for is to adjust this paper tray for the specific size paper that you're using in this paper tray. So in our case, we're using a standard 8.5 by 11 or letter size paper. So I want to make sure that all these adjustments are set exactly for the size paper that I'm using. So I want to make sure that all of them are sitting on letter or 8.5 by 11. If they're not, if they're set for either a smaller size piece of paper or a larger size piece of paper, it's going to allow the paper to either be too tight inside this paper tray or too loose inside this paper tray, causing problems for the printer trying to pull that paper. So, very important, make sure your printer tray is set correctly for the exact size paper that you're using in that paper tray. So another thing that we see quite frequently is from adding paper into the printer. What happens is you take your new stack of paper and you go to slide it inside the paper tray that still has a few sheets inside of it, and if you set it down and kind of push it back, what will happen is you get a piece of paper that kind of curls up in the back of the paper tray, something like that. And what happens is, again, it causes the paper to kind of squeeze inside of that paper tray, becoming too tight, and the printer has a really hard time pulling that paper through. So really important to make sure whenever you add paper, take a quick look on all four sides. Make sure it's a nice even stack all the way around. There's no paper curled up anywhere. It should be a nice even stack all four sides. If you see any paper curled up anywhere, please just take a second and remove that out, and it'll go a long ways as far as reducing the amount of paper jams you're having. So another thing that we see as far as an issue for causing paper jams from adding paper into your tray is overfilling your paper tray. So if you look here on the left and right side, even on the back, those adjusting slides that we were talking about, you'll also see a little tab that sticks out in towards the paper tray, and that's your maximum fill line for your paper tray. So it's really common. Obviously nobody wants us to stop in the middle of a print job and add more paper into the printer, so you want us to try to shove as much paper in here as you can. But if you go above this line, or even if you try to kind of push the edges of the paper where it goes underneath there, what can happen is it can kind of hump here in the center, and again it's going to cause the paper to be too tight up against the pickup assembly, and the printer's going to have a really hard time pulling the first few sheets of paper until it gets down below that line, and you're going to have a lot of jamming. So very important, do not overfill the paper tray. In fact, I usually think it's a good rule of thumb, leave a small gap between the top sheet of paper and these tabs. That way it prevents any of that from happening. Again, you might not be able to put an extra 10 sheets of paper in there, but it's going to save you a lot of headaches in the long run. So if those three things didn't help reduce the amount of paper jams you're having, if it still happens quite frequently, then there's a good chance what could be happening is you've had this printer for a while, you've used it pretty heavily, then the rollers that pick up the paper and pull it through the printer are probably worn out and need to be replaced. And if that's the case, please feel free to reach out to Onyx. We'd love to help take care of that for you. Also, if you have any other questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to Onyx. We'd love to help answer those for you as well. And if there's any way we can help supply with any of your printer office supply needs, we'd love to help supply those for you. Hope you have a great day and you're back up and printing. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. If you're interested in how you can receive free labor on all of your service calls, as well as how to qualify for free printer upgrades, contact us today. We are here for all of your printer and office supply needs.